Right now, let's go for a little tour with Steve Evans.
First thing you'll notice when driving in Quebec, the road signs are all in French. So you've got to get your suds and your us and your s and your nords all figured out. Now, I can tell you that S-E-S-T, that's east. You're on your own for the rest of them. But even if you get lost trying to find the village of St. P, I don't think you'll mind. The countryside is so beautiful. The one thing, though, don't worry about eating, because every restaurant I visited knew exactly what I wanted. After all, Big Mac is part of the international language. But once you get to Saint Air, believe it or not, you'll find some healthy food.
And there you're looking exactly at what Steve Evans was talking about, one of those fruit stands here.
You don't see those back home, that's for sure.
Here in Canada, especially French-speaking Canada and Quebec, driving is a little bit different. Earlier, Steve Evans had a look at what goes on the road.
In the province of Quebec, all road signs are in French by law. But you shouldn't have any problem if you use a little common sense. I mean, that sign, it's red, it's the same shape. Even though it says RA, you're still going to S-T-O-P, right? One thing might freak you out at first, though, and that's direction signs. They're in French, as we said, but pretty easy to figure out. I mean, which looks more like north to you, Nord or Sud? Well, if I was going to Quebec City, which is north of here, I'd follow that arrow. Now, Est and West. Here's S. That's east, E-S-T. The T is silent. West, it's not on this sign, it's spelled O-U-E-S-T. But still, bonjour, monsieur. Pretty easy to figure out. So all in all, you really don't have to be Pepe Le Pew to drive in Quebec. When you first hit the Canadian 4 lanes, boy, are your eyes going to light up at the sight of that sign. 100. But before you mash the pedal down, that's 100 kilometers per hour, or kilometers, or as Brock Yates likes to say, well-traveled automotive journalist that he is, clicks. Now, any late model car, if you look inside the mile-per-hour scale on your speedometer, you'll find a kilometer scale. If you just can't deal with the metric stuff, use the Evans formula. Multiply that 1 by 6. 60 miles per hour, approximately 100 kilometers per hour. And we found out here that if you're running 100 clicks, you're probably holding up traffic. They do like to roll in Canada. Let's carry this formula thought a bit further. You'll find most of Canada's lovely rural 2-lane roads posted at 80 clicks. Now, using the Evans system, that's approximately 48 miles per hour. Okay, now for the next one, you're on your own. Oops, you caught me. I shouldn't even have this rascal out, because I just found out that, like the province of Ontario, radar detectors are illegal in Quebec. Now, how would the federale know if you had one? Well, I guess when they shine the radar on you and you slam on the brakes, pretty good chance. If they find it in Quebec, they fine you about $40. If you're in Ontario, well, they have radar detectors. They know for sure you have it, and they take it away from you, and they don't give it back. So my advice would be, considering the speed limits are fairly high and law enforcement very reasonable, leave it home or lock it in the trunk. That's what I'm going to do.
But before we go back to racing, let us return to the highways of Quebec and our man on the road, Steve Evans.
Having logged many miles north of the border, I know you, too, are going to enjoy your Canadian highway adventures. Until, that is, you get to the petrol pump. Good fuel is over 60 cents per liter, approximately 3.7 liters per U.S. gallon. That's well over $2.50 Canadian currency, a little less in U.S. funds, but still pretty pricey fuel. My advice is fill up and top it off before you cross the border and run her home lean and mean. What do you think you see so many Canadian plates at filling stations on the U.S. side?